Hey guys, I'm Emily Ruth and welcome to Yoga for Mountain Bikers. This is your Restore 20, a perfect post-ride session to stretch and release. When you're ready, let's jump on the mat and get started. Okay, so we're going to start by coming into child's pose. So taking the knees out slightly wider than hip distance, sitting back onto the heels, and then walking the fingertips forwards until we allow the head to come down towards the mat beneath us. And maybe it grounds down, maybe it doesn't, that's fine. And just taking a couple of slow, deep breaths here. Breathing into the belly, but also beginning to breathe into the lower back. Finding that release through the outer hips, the glutes, the lower back, where for so many of us after being on a bike can feel sore. Take one more breath. On our next inhale, float the torso away from the mat, walk the fingertips over to the left-hand side as far as we can, and maybe we come off the edge. And as we exhale, grounding back down. Allowing the forehead to come down to the mat, pulling back through the right hip crease and keep reaching forwards through the right fingertips, finding that release through the right side body. Take one more breath. Inhale, press into the fingertips, float the torso, walk the fingers over to the right hand side, this time as far as you can. And as we exhale, melting the heart and the head back down. Pull back through the left hip crease. Reach forwards through the left fingertips as we begin to find that release through the left side body. Deepen the breath. Taking one more. As we inhale, float the torso, walk the fingertips back through to center, and this time press the palms down and we'll roll forwards through the spine, making our way through to tabletop position. So you can realign here, fingertips spread wide, shoulders stacking on top of the wrists, knees under hip points. And we're just going to begin to find a gentle rock forwards and back, beginning to stretch out through the wrists and through the forearms. So it's okay for the shoulders to come over the wrists here. And we'll take a couple more rounds. And then when you're ready, we're going to rotate the hands to face back towards us. So the forearms face forwards. And you might need to walk the knees in a little closer here if the forearms are feeling particularly tight today. And then just finding that micro movement of pulling the hips back, beginning to find that release through the forearm area, through the wrists, where we all get that forearm pump from biking. This should feel really good. We'll take one more rock. And then rotating the hands around. We'll walk the fingers forwards. Keep the hips stacked on top of the knees here, and you might want to bring in blocks if you have them. So I'll show you first without. Walk the hands forwards, allow the hips to stay high, and then allow the heart and the head to come down towards the mat, beginning to open up through the chest, through the shoulders, and the upper back. So option to stay here. If you do have blocks, then you can bring them underneath the elbows. Place the elbows on top, creating a little more space for the chest to move into. As you pull the heart back, palms can come together, and then pull the thumbs back towards the nape of the neck. Shifting the stretch into the triceps as well here. Wherever you are, we'll take one more full breath. Good. And then gently releasing the arms. If we do have blocks, let's pop them out to one side. Walk the hands forwards, shift the weight into the hands and lower all the way down onto the mat. Rest your right ear down, so look to the left. Extend the right arm to the side at shoulder level, palm facing down. Bend through the left knee, and then pressing into the left hand, we're going to open up through the hips and step the left foot behind us, finding the release through the pectoral muscles. Maybe the knee wants to open out, that's fine. We'll take a couple more breaths here. Giving yourself time and space just to release. And when you're ready, you can roll back onto your front. Slide the right hand in, slide the left hand out, and this time let the left ear come down to the mat, shifting your gaze to the right. Bend the right knee, press into the right hand as we step the right foot behind us, opening up through the chest and through the hips. Find your breath. Taking one more. And then rolling back on to your front. This time coming up onto the forearms, coming into a mini Sphinx pose. Option to use a strap here, and if you don't have a strap, you can use a belt, a scarf, anything that you have handy. Allow the right hand to come towards the left wrist, bringing the forearm to the diagonal. We're going to bend the left leg. If we can reach foot with hand, then we can grab a hold, and if not, feel free to loop your strap around the foot so that we can reach to pull it in. So wherever you are, drawing the heel towards the glutes, keeping a slight activation through the glutes here, maybe a 3 out of 10. Keep the hips pressing down into the mat. We're going to take one more breath, finding that release through the quadriceps here that we overwork so much, especially if you're pedaling as well. One more breath. Gently release the foot back down. Replace the right arm with the left arm. Bend through the right leg and we'll come into it on the other side. Again, option to use your strap, so don't force it. Find that physical edge. And then gently just begin to pull the heel towards the glutes. And remember, as long as you're feeling it, you're doing it. So it doesn't matter what this looks like. We want to find that release through the right quadricep. Keep that gentle engagement through the glutes. We'll take one more breath. And releasing the foot all the way back down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes behind, and we'll send it back and up to downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths here, just beginning to pedal out through the feet. Making sure the fingertips are spread wide still. We're pulling the heart back towards the thighs, creating space in the spine. So you can bend your knees as much as you like here to allow your spine to get long. We'll take one more breath, finding that release through the hamstrings, through the back line of fascia running through the body. And then coming through to center, when you're ready, we're going to peel the right knee forwards, bring the right knee behind the right wrist, lower it down, and then walk the right toes over to the left. Lower the left knee and slide the left foot back, making our way into pigeon pose. So take a moment to get comfortable here. If your hips are really lifted, feel free to bring a cushion or a block underneath the right sit bone to level them off. And then when you're ready, as we inhale, take a moment to lift and lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, walking the fingertips forwards, maybe coming down onto the forearms, or maybe coming all the way down, resting the forehead onto the hands. And again, just finding where feels good for you today. Slow the breath down. Finding that release through the outer edges of the glutes, the outer edges of the hips and the thighs. Releasing tension all the way into the lower back. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Allowing your body just to soften inwards. And then when you're ready, if we're all the way down, pressing into the forearms to rise back up. Plant the hands down, tuck the toes under behind you, and we'll send it back and up to downward facing dog. Maybe giving the leg a little shake out, a little wiggle. And then when you're ready, sliding the left knee forwards behind the left wrist. Lower down and then slide the toes over to the right side. Untuck the back toes, send them back, and again, option to bring a block underneath the left hip crease this time to balance those hips out so that they're nice and level. Fingertips can stay grounded. As we inhale, take a moment to lift and lengthen. And as we exhale, walking the hands forwards, maybe coming onto forearms. You can always stack the fists to rest the forehead onto, or coming all the way down to the mat. And remembering that left side isn't always the same as the right side, so just taking a moment to check in, notice those discrepancies and moving to the point that feels good for you today. Tune into your breath. Breathing down into the belly. Notice if you're holding onto any tension within the body, within the hips. And maybe just seeing if we can allow that to release. One more breath here. When you're ready, coming back onto the hands, gently rising up. Tuck the back toe under, lift the back knee, and we'll slide it back to downward facing dog. Again, maybe giving the leg a little shake out, a little wiggle. And then on our next inhale, rise up high on the toes. And as we exhale, bend the knees, shift the gaze forwards, and let's see if we can jump to the top of the mat, bringing hands to outside edges, feet to outside edges of the hands. Take a couple of moments here, and I'm going to pivot round so I can show you just a rock from side to side. Moving from the ball of the foot through to the heel. And then when you're ready, if we can, settling both heels down. If not, feel free to bring a rolled up blanket underneath the heels to support. Elbows come into the knees, hands come together to heart center, sternum lifts towards the thumbs. Finding that release through the hip crease, through the glutes. And then option to stay here or to release the hands in front of you. Begin to walk the fingertips forwards, allow the spine to round and allow the chin to come down towards the chest. Stay with the breath. Walking the fingertips back towards the body. And from here, reach the hands forwards and slowly lower down onto the sit bones. Plant the feet down, reach the hands forwards, take an inhale to lift and lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, slowly rolling all the way back down to the mat beneath you. Bend the left knee. Draw the right knee in towards the chest, interlace the fingers and hug it in. From here, we're going to extend the right leg up towards the sky. Again, option just to use hands. You can interlace hands behind the thigh or behind the calf. Or if you have a strap handy, you can loop it over the ball of the foot and gently pull to find that resistance. Left knee can stay bent, or if there's space, we can extend it out. Finding that release through the back of the hands. And if we have a strap, try and keep the elbows grounded here so the shoulders can relax. Wherever you are, maybe closing the eyes down as we take one more full breath in and a full breath out. If we're using a strap, we can soften the knee, pop the strap to one side, and together we'll bend the right knee into the chest. Take a hold of the right knee with the left hand, right arm comes out at shoulder level, and then gently pulling the right knee over to the left, and shifting the gaze over to the right. Coming into our reclined twist, releasing any tension in the lower back. And just allow the body to relax into this pose. Taking a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, drawing the knee back through to center. Give it a nice hug in. And then as we exhale, plant the right foot down and hug the left knee all the way in towards the chest. Again, extend the left leg long, option to interlace the fingertips behind the thigh, behind the calf, or use that strap to loop around the ball of the foot. You might need to bend your knee to get it round, and then extend up and just find that resistance. Flexing through the foot wherever you are, option to slide the right leg out long, keeping the hips level and the sacrum grounded into the mat. Find your breath here. And again, it really doesn't matter where we are here. So maybe we're somewhere here, just remembering that as long as you're feeling it, you're doing it. And we'll take one more breath. And then soften through the knee. If we have a strap, we can release it to the side. Draw the left knee into the chest. Take a hold of left knee with right hand, left arm out to the side. And as we exhale, pulling the knee over to the opposite side and shifting the gaze over to the left. Allowing your body to soften here. Feel free to bring a cushion underneath the knee to support. Allow your breath to slow down and know that when we're in twists, our breath won't be as deep. So just breathing fluidly. Taking one more breath in and one more breath out. When you're ready, drawing the knee back through to center. And this time, hug both knees in towards the chest. Maybe finding a little rotation of the knees around in a circle one way, massaging through the lower back. And then reverse that circle back around in the other direction. Draw the knees as close to your nose as you can, knees towards nose towards knees. Squeeze yourself into a tiny ball. And exhale to release. Drop the feet down. Slide the legs out long as we make our way into Shavasana. Allowing your entire body to relax into the mat beneath you. Maybe closing the eyes down. And just allowing yourself as long as feels good right here today.